It's been a couple of weeks since my last trip with this thing out to Tennessee, and I'm going to address one of the issues that I had with it on this trip. So, this is a factory part from Land Rover back in the day, and it's going to be for something that plugs into here. It's going to be the factory iPod integration for the Lr3s. Now I know what you're probably thinking, why the fuck would I want to put an iPod in a thing or in a car? Because that's a dead technology or whatever. Well, yes and no. There's a way to add Bluetooth to this, at least the way I'm doing it. But there is some nostalgia of having one of these guys. And yep, this one actually still works. So, gonna get this in. Still have a way to hook up Bluetooth, but on the flip side, have something like this that's like 10-20 gigs of storage space for music to have that in the car at all times. So factory part, you're pulling the radio out, basically plugging in a jumper harness, mounting the box that also gives you a USB and an RCA input. Mount that in the glove box, and then mount that cable for the iPod also in the upper glove box. And yeah, this is a how-to on that, since there are none in the internet because it's a dead technology, but you saw it here first. Spend our focus on this part right here. Pull this upper portion off by pulling it towards you. That'll get that whole trim out, and then we're gonna do the upper glove box. Comes out by you pulling it forward, as well as that little guy also comes out by pulling it forward. So we'll get those guys off. So I got this guy out. Now I'm going to be drilling some holes in it to mount this on the inside underneath. And then I'll be running the wires inside. So time to get that done. Drilled some holes on there to mount this bracket, and then the two screws go from the bottom that hold these two guys in there, like the instructions say, like so. Next up, we're drilling a hole in the back to fish the wires through. So here I've got all that mounted, the hole is drilled through. This part kind of sucks, getting either a ratchet in there to get like enough leverage, or doing just a little bit and using a wrench as a leverage to get these guys tight. But once that's tight, I guess the hard part is done. Then it's back to pulling your radio out. All right, back to the interior. This is gonna be a T20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts to get the HVAC and the radio out to be able to plug the jumper harness in. That goes out next. All right, once you get all those bolts out, going to the back of the radio, disconnecting the 2 radio connections, feeding through the harness, male to male, female to female, to male to female, whatever way it goes in. Mounting this guy somewhere to the right of the glove box, hooking up the wires, and in theory you should have Apple connectivity or iPod connectivity. Alright, so that is now plugged in. Make sure you tuck that wiring harness way back there. Make sure this upper part doesn't pinch anywhere when you get that together. Alright, so radio, HVAC, and the hazard panel are back in. Time to do some finishing touches. And I'll have my Nickelback playing in this thing before I know it. Alright, so went to go and test everything. I got my little iPod Bluetooth adapter thing as well as my iPod hooked up. At first I wasn't getting any fucking noise coming out of this thing. What I realized is that switch on the left needs to be in the up position rather than the down position. So I spent half an hour rechecking my wiring, slamming my head on the steering wheel and crying until I figured that out after I looked through the handy dandy owner's manual. So now I've got music on here. Right now it's hooked up to my phone. And then the best part about this is I can skip by hitting the steering wheel. I can skip songs. So hit it, boom, skip. Super happy about that. And I don't have to have a radio or a different style radio or anything like that. Time to button up the wiring that's dangling out over there and get the interior back together, and she's all done. Alright, got done wrestling with this thing. That still works. And got the wiring tucked up behind the glove box. Let's see if I can get that to focus. And got that working. Sweet. So I'll basically have this guy when I'm feeling on a field trip. And then I got this guy to when I want to be all modern and hook up my new modern phone via Bluetooth. This is a Bovi adapter.